Basically, Ignacio, nice to see you. Alors, it's a great pleasure to see you because Ignacio got a motorbike accident like 6 months ago. When was it, Ignacio? 6 months ago. Of course, I was very
in January, almost 9 months.
I was very scared. I went to go to see you at the hospital, but it was not possible. So I wrote an article about you. Remember, I wrote an article about you, wishing you the best. Are you better first? How is your health?
I'm doing perfect, to be honest.
Okay.
Almost you cannot tell I had an accident.
Okay. When do we play paddle together, Ignacio? When do we play paddle?
When you come back to Madrid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know it's a very popular sport now. Are you playing paddle, Kevin? I'm sure that you are playing. You love tennis, so you must be playing paddle. No. No, I cannot hear you, Kevin. I cannot hear you, Kevin. Maybe if you want, you can introduce yourself. I'm going to ask Ignacio to introduce himself. So Ignacio was a Kevin student, like 1 year and a half ago, Ignacio, and that's when you were preparing the GMAT with Kevin that we have met. Okay. Alors, Ignacio, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Well, my name is Ignacio. I was born and raised in Madrid, and I'm an industrial engineer by ICAI, as some of you may know. I studied with Kevin to prepare the GMAT at the end of 2022, and before I went traveling all over the world, and after settling down and doing the master in finance at IE. Right now, I'm a fixed income trader. I have more than €1 billion under control to fund in Spanish government bonds and futures, and the masters was able to allow me to more or less achieve my goals and land the dream job I wanted to. And everything started at the academy with Kevin, and more or less is the way to go in this process. Because I'm sure you are all looking one step ahead to find your dream job.
Exactly. So that's something that you want. I wanted to meet Ignacio. Ignacio is a great guy. We can say that we are friends now, Ignacio. We are friends. We are more than students and teachers. We are friends. Usually French and Spaniards, they get along pretty well. And we found ourselves. Each time I come to Madrid, I see my friend Ignacio. And what is interesting is that you see most of the students that I have, it's a good thing. They usually work in consulting. They work for an MBB or Oliver Wyman, this type of company. They go to Kevin's place and they want to work in consulting. Okay, which is of course a very good thing. But I want to have diversity. Okay, I want to show you that Kevin students, they are not just consultants. Okay, they're also that's what we have more like in Europe or in London. People who work in finance and who do something different. Okay. Alors, basically, Ignacio, you didn't go for an MBA, you didn't go for an MIM. You have decided to, after the pontificate, because you're an ICAI graduate, you have decided to go for a master in finance. You have decided you should not wait, so I should switch directly. And I think, personally, it's a good thing right after the bachelor to do a master's. Afterwards, you can even do an MBA. Probably that's what Ignacio will do because he wants to do an MBA now. But so why have you decided? You have a very good education to go for a master right after ICAI. What was the rationale behind that?
Well, in my case, as soon as I graduated, I was working and trying to find summer internship and other programs to get into a job market. And I was working at CBRE, that is the largest consultant for real estate. But obviously, opportunities, especially in Spain, are scarce. Finance positions and even consulting positions at big firms, not only MBBs, but also LEK, Oliver Wyman, all these companies, it's way easier to go to London or to other cities to find a brighter future. And in my case, I wanted the opportunity to get into finance because, as I told you, my background was engineering, and having no formal experience can also be a big drawback in your application process. So getting that formal experience, that can be a MIM if you want to do consulting, or a MIF that is also very valuable for consulting, can be like that launch platform for all your career at the beginning. And obviously, the cost of doing those kind of programs is way lower than an MBA that generally is longer and also is way more expensive in tuition fees.
Exactly. So that's something. As you know, you don't know me, but I would ask you to follow me. I would ask you to connect with me through LinkedIn. I write a post every day. So today I wrote, for instance, about the new Grad School of Business. So in the US, there's a school that was named after Mr. Daniel. And I will write tonight a post about the new Financial Times ranking on the Master in Finance. So basically, I work a lot in India, and that's something that I say a lot to my Indian students, but also to my European students, is that go for a specialized master right after graduation, okay? Because it is shorter. Huh? The INSEAD, the London Business School MIF program is 1 year, is 9 months. The London Business School MBA is 21 months. It is cheaper, and most important, it has an impact directly after graduation. Okay, so for instance, I give you an example. Ignacio, he has a type of job today that he could not have after IKI. Okay, so he knows that his career is Skype jumping right now. Okay, he doesn't have to wait 4 years before doing so. Okay, so I know that a lot of Kevin students are NDB consultants, so they have chosen a different path, and of course, I perfectly respect. And in the configuration in which they have to work for McKinsey for 1, 2, 3 years before going for the MBA, being promoted team leader, and then switching to another company. But a lot of students are not in this situation. Okay. Now, what is an MIF, Ignacio? What did you learn, and how was it essential for you to get a job? Why this bank that you work for now, as they say, to give you a job? Tell me.
Yeah, well, as I have already told you, I had no prior experience in like formal education in what finance was. So, and I wanted to pursue a career in finance. So the MIF, because the finance spectrum is very ample, can teach you firstly what the industry is like. There are a lot of different positions, and to understand the market and the role of each participant in the companies and the markets is very important. And also, unless you have been working there for some time, you don't know what path you want to follow. It's not the same to work as I'm doing right now as a trader in the markets than if you are more interested, for example, in corporate finance. So all that information is processed in the master, and also you get a lot of the technical abilities and knowledge that are required to just do your application, and that will also be required when you start working.
Okay. I'm sure that you have questions. I don't know your first name, okay? But Charlotte, for instance, you left me your what questions have you got, Charlotte? Which Charlotte, by the way? It's you, Charlotte? Oh yeah, it's you, Charlotte. Okay, so Charlotte, what questions have you got to someone who has reached the objective that you have set for yourself? Then, who are you, Charlotte, by the way, in 30 seconds? Your background, your work experience. Don't be shy. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, what your goals
are, and what questions have you got for me?
Questions.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Just tell my papers.
But what questions have you got, Charlotte, for Ignacio? Charlotte, what questions have you got for Ignacio?
You have to use. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, tell me. Maybe can you type the question that you have, Charlotte? Can you type it? Can you type?
Yeah.
Can you type the question that you have?
The volume down, and she puts up the volume.
Maybe let's imagine that Charlotte has a question. Okay. So Ignacio, why have you picked up?
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I would say that what would you consider the most important things when you're doing your application? So like your motivational statement and stuff like that. Things that make your application stand out to other people if you don't have like broad experience in what you want to specialize in.
That's a great question, and that's exactly more or less what my path was, because as I told you, I had no prior experience. So what you should go is through the path of understanding what you want, like self-knowledge, and also like what you want to obtain from the degree, what is your next path in your professional career. But we're also human beings. Understand your strengths, what stories you have in your past, what is your background, not only from the perspective of what was your school, no, say what your character is like, how it was conformed because of your family, your adventures, your sports, your hobbies, and generally a story that is yourself will sell way better than the random story of this is my process, I see myself doing blah in 5 years. If you give soul and also you are self-confident and self-knowledgeable of what you can offer to a program, it's a way better strategy in my experience.
Yeah. Now what you have to see, this Charlotte, the question at IE is, please tell us something that is not in your application. Okay, so you're going to send your CV, your grades, letter of recommendation. And IE has a question, it is the same for everybody, whether you apply for a bachelor, for a master in management, for an MBA, they have the same question. What is the one thing that is not in your CV and we don't know about yourself? So people are going to, but that's why when I work with my students, I make sure that they don't put everything in their resume so that we have something left for this question. Okay. I don't remember, Ignacio. So basically, to go into IE, you need a TOEFL, but your English is excellent. I'm sure that you have been in the English education system. They need a test, okay, GMAT or GRE. You have, of course, an essay. It is between 400 to 650 words, and then you have an interview. What is the interview like at IE? Is it motivation or technical? I forgot if it's technical or not. I forgot.
Yeah, I had 2 interviews. One of them exactly was more personality based, in which they just want to know you, to see what your background is like and what are your dreams and desires. And the second one was especially technical. It had questions like, for example, the KPM model, which is a financial model for asset pricing. It had also questions, and I knew nothing about it, and I confidently told the examinator. But if I was prepared back then, I would for sure have answered in a better way. And I had also another question of portfolio analysis and management, and in that one, I think I excelled. And basically, they want to see what your experience is like before, and then they will tailor-make the questions. I also had a valuations question, and because I was working doing real estate valuations, they said, hey, how are valuations generally made? So they wanted to test what your knowledge in your previous internships or in your program, if it's what you studied, have to do with your CV and then with the masters.
No, that's very important. And you have to see that each school, when you talk about top schools, some of you probably want to go for MBA, but I would say that most of the schools, they have like a motivation interviews, but it's true that, for instance, the specialized masters, you have a technical interview, okay, about your knowledge in finance. And of course, even if you fail, they don't care. If they see that there's your question about, I don't know, about M&A, and you have an internship in asset management, and you don't know how to answer something about valuation methods, what are the 3 valuation methods that we use in finance, they say we don't mind because he did an internship in asset management, and sometimes you even have no internship at all. Okay. Charlotte, you want to apply to which program? What is your target, Charlotte?
Hello. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think I want to do double masters in management and finance.
It's difficult to do double master in management and finance. Okay. But yes, if you go to HEC, that's something that you can do. On your one, you do a master in management, and on your 2, you do a master in finance. It's possible if you go for HEC to have a double degree. But if you study at INSEAD, it won't work. Rocio, I don't know who is Rocio. What questions have you got? What questions have you got for me, Rocio? Yeah.
Hi. I think my main question is like, because at the end, like the programs from the tech universities are really similar. Like how do you decide for like IE in this case?
So how different are the
want to
programs?
know-
It's true that it is true that either way, you know only about IE, Ignacio, but from what you know, how different are the programs?
In my case, I think a sound application is not only to one school. I only applied to one school, but I think it's pretty sound to apply to 3 or 4 programs. And I actually don't think that all the programs are very similar. I have friends that did the MFA at the LBS, which is great. I have friends that have done the Master in Management and in Finance at HEC. And generally, to decide, you more or less have to do a lot of investigation. See what are the main companies that graduates of the master go after doing their masters. Grab with a pinch of salt the salary ranges you can find from the rankings. They are not that real. Also, but they also give like information, and a lot of people choose based on the rankings. So that's good. And more or less try to see what can provide you the most. If you, for example, want to do a master and also have a wonderful experience, choose a city that can provide you that. Because if, for example, you go to Canada and it's going to be extremely cold, as Kevin is from Canada, maybe you don't enjoy your masters the most. So choose wisely between the city, the professionals. Look for teachers that might look for LinkedIn professors of HEC, professors of LBS, professors of IE, and look what the roles are. And also, one thing about the masters are the majors. I wanted to do the financial analysis and markets because I wanted to do a lot of programming and mathematical applications. I know that ESCP has this kind of track, and I know that IE had it, but not a lot of masters give that much of a specialization in case you are looking for one.
Exactly. Alors, you can see that I studied at Harvard, UPenn, so UPenn in Wharton, and Stanford. So I'm doing a sort of executive MBA now at Stanford. So I've been able to compare, for instance, Harvard, Wharton, Stanford, quite a lot. Okay. So it's true that when you come from Europe, you all believe, oh, Harvard, Wharton, Stanford, I don't know, MIT, they're all the same, and in reality, it's not true. What's going to affect a lot is the history and also the location. So I would say that, for instance, in my executive MBA, in my lead program at Stanford, I can see that the added value is if you want to work in the Silicon Valley. If your dream is to work as an entrepreneur in the Silicon Valley, of course, Stanford is the best place because I see already that some of my colleagues already receive offers to work in the Silicon Valley. Even though one is from Austria, I'm based in France, as you can hear. I have a colleague who is in the UK, and I have another one who is based in Germany. So even us being based outside there, we receive offers already from the Silicon Valley. Okay. Now I'm doing an MBA and doctorate, executive doctorate at UPenn, and I can see that at Wharton it's true that it is really a finance-based. It's a finance-based program. It's when we always say if you want to work in finance, whether it be investment banking, private equity, it's the right school to go. Of course, consulting is not bad. And I would say that Harvard, I didn't go to our business school, but I have friends, I was there, and I see my friends after some time. It's true that it's really the school for VC. Okay, Harvard is the school for VC, for general management. So basically, if you say, I want to work in VC, in general management, it's Harvard. I want to work as an entrepreneur in high tech, it's Stanford. If you say I want to work in finance, it's Wharton. And it is true that the perception is not the same at all. For instance, if you go to Stanford and you apply for I don't know, for a job in consulting, they will say, but why did you go to Stanford? I say, it was the best school in the ranking. I was so happy. And they say you should have tried INSEAD or MIT or Columbia. So basically, the perception where you need to go will affect the perception of the companies. And of course, when you're French or when you're Spaniard or when you wherever you are from, you don't really perceive that as something very important. Now, Dan Niels, did you leave your phone number, Daniels? Did you leave your phone number? Yeah. Will you leave it after that? So Daniels. Yeah.
I'll leave it in a second.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, since you were mentioning kind of a breakdown of which careers it's ideal to do your MBA in which school, I was wondering if you're currently in consulting and you're planning to leave consulting for a second to come back to consulting, what is the ideal MBA you'd say?
What do you say, Ignacio?
Sorry?
Ignacio, what will you answer? I will reply, but Ignacio will say. Ignacio.
I have a few friends that love consulting actually, and they work at McKinsey. You know that McKinsey pays for the MBA. Some have chosen Harvard, maybe for what Doctor was saying, because it's on top of the rankings. I have a few friends that have also gone to Cornell, and a few of them have gone to Columbia too, and NYU. That has more or less been my experience. But now the expert will tell you which is the best path.
Alors, Dennis, basically, what I want to say is that there are two things to say. Is that if you want to work in consulting and you want to stay, INSEAD could be a good solution.
Okay.
It's a one-year program, and it is recognized for its expertise in consulting. As you know, the last theory that we have in consulting is called the Blue Ocean Strategy. I'm sure that you have heard about this, and it was launched by professors who stopped working for INSEAD now. Okay, who still lecture once in a while, but they were INSEAD professors, and now they have their own consulting, their own practice. So I would say it's a good place. But at the same time, we perfectly know, we are not stupid, that you're not going to stay with McKinsey. Most likely, you're going to do something else. So I would say, what is my plan in 5 years? And if I want to be, depending on what you want to do, you will go for there. But it's true that too many students choose a school because of the ranking, and they should choose more a school about what they can learn and what they can achieve there. Okay. At the end, I would say that there are two schools that really stand out. It's Harvard and Stanford. From the US perspective, that's really the thing that you have. It's really the two schools that stand out. And then the rest is between what we call the rest of the M7. So from Kellogg to MIT through Chicago, it's basically the same. So you get from there. But of course, there's also location. I don't want to be rude, but Chicago Booth is not the best location. Okay. Of course, Kellogg has a better location. So if you say, I will study, and right after my studies, my friends, they will go back home because they don't want to stay on campus because it's dangerous and the campus is not very good. You have to say, is it what I want? Okay, of course, if you go to Kellogg, there is a campus life. That's the type of thing that you have to consider. And Cornell versus NYU. Okay, NYU is in the center of New York. Cornell is in Ithaca. So basically, I would say that that's something that you have to consider. Me, for instance, I love California. So Stanford was a good place to be, because that's basically where I would like to develop after my program. You see, Dennis, can you leave your phone number? You work for which company, Dennis? An MBB? Yeah, you work for an MBB.
Oliver Wyman. Oliver Wyman.
Oliver Wyman. Okay, I had two students from Oliver Wyman last year. I had who are still at INSEAD. I forgot their name. You probably know them. They are two. Both are from Portugal. Yeah, I'm sure that you know about them.
Yeah.
And one was a student of Kevin in the GMAT, and the other one prepared on his own. They both got INSEAD, so I know Oliver Wyman, and I work a lot with Oliver Wyman in Dubai,
Okay.
in the Middle East. Okay, we are going, by the way, to have a seminar with Oliver Wyman soon. But leave your contact information, Dennis. Okay.
Perfect.
So Juan had a question. I don't know where is Juan. Where's Juan?
Juan.
Juan. Yeah, Juan. Yeah.
I don't really have a specific question, but well, in my situation, I'm working at a law firm right now, and I would like to do an MBA in order to change the sector I work in. So go to a more financial job instead of working in a law firm, and that's a bit the reason I would like to do an MBA.
When you're in this situation, Ignacio, do you advise to do an MBA or an MIF if you want to switch to finance? What do you think?
I think that having the prior experience in the law firm, I don't know how many years you've been working, maybe the MBA will launch you longer in your career, because the MIF is mostly planned for entering as an analyst. Salaries are high, but it's an analyst, and it's also the hardest moment to work in a company. But with an MBA, you enter more into the associate path, which everything is different from consulting, and the associate is higher pay, more responsibilities, and more manager style. That's why the MBA can be of better experience than the MIF.
Yeah, because what you have to see is that there are some programs that are pre-experienced. So basically, Ignacio's MIF was a pre-experienced master, but they're also post-experience. Okay. So for instance, London Business School, they have an MFA, which is a pre-experience, but they have an MIF that is post-experience. And same thing for Cambridge and Oxford, they have programs that are more designed for post-experience students. Okay. You could also imagine, by the way, one to do even a PhD in finance. Okay, why not? So basically, I would say that if, for instance, you want to make a switch directly to investment banking, you can say that why go for an MBA why not go directly for Oxford, a master in financial in finance, in financial economics? You can bring me the same thing, and you will spend far less money. Okay. You have to see that it is important also to show that you specialize. The problem of MBAs, me myself, I do an executive MBA now at Stanford, and the problem is not very specialized. Okay, it's an issue that it's really it's for people who are going to have a strategic role. But if you want to have like a role that is more focused, you may need a more specialized program. Of course, I will never say anything against the MBA, but for instance, I give you an example. You asked me about the school. If you work as a banker and if you want to work in finance, investment banking, instead it's not the right school for you. You will never be able to make it. Okay, by the way, in your situation, either you say I do a specialized master's in finance in Europe, or I go to America, because in 2 years, I can show that I've learned a lot to make a career switch. All of you, by the way, if you want to do a career switch, don't do a one-year program. For instance, for Daniel, INSEAD would be a good program because he works for Oliver Wyman. He will work for INSEAD. He will come back for Oliver Wyman. He will specialize, I don't know, in real estate, banking, insurance. And it is this specialization as a team leader that will allow him to make a career switch. Okay, not really the MBA. You agree? The MBA is the degree that he has to have to stay in the company and be in the race. Okay. People who are on the left of Daniel. What is your first name? The lady with the glasses. What is your question? Yeah. What is your first name?
Yeah, my name is Patricia.
Patricia. Okay.
I usually. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I just had a very quick question. Okay. We have a very quick question, and it's do you recommend us to do a common application, both of us, or that damages the application?
What do you mean a common application? What do you mean by a common application?
So you can do like a common application with your partner. And I don't know if that is worse or better for the application.
Oh, it's very bad to do that. I've never done that because I have couples who have applied, but no, never do that. Can you imagine? And it's very difficult to make a common application because the question that they will ask you are very personal. Okay, imagine that they say, what is the thing that is not in your CV? You're not going to say something common. No, you have to do your own application. What do you advise in yes? Yeah, sorry.
I'm not meaning that. I'm meaning just like we want to do the same MBA, and I know that there's an option that if you do it with your partner, you can both apply. And some people tell me that it's better to do like both of them, but like the questions are individual.
Yeah. No, basically, it's better. So if you apply as a couple, it's better.
That was my question. Okay.
It's better. It's better because you see, it's easier for a woman to be accepted than it is for a man. So usually what they will say, either you're very good and you both get accepted, but imagine that you're very good and your husband is not as good, they will probably take him. Okay? Of course. But you understand? So usually they don't try to split couples. But of course, the level has to be pretty close. If you have a 550 GMAT and you have if you have 555 GMAT, the other one has a 755. One is an ICADE, was the best student of ICADE, and the other one went to Carlos Tresei and was an average student. They're not going to take the two. Okay, but if you're pretty close, it can help. Yeah, it's a plus. And you can, by the way, mention in the optional essay that you apply as a couple. Yes, there. And by the way, there's something that we have not discussed as well, and that Ignacio can tell us. It's about is the application everything, Ignacio? Is there another way? Don't you think that there are also other ways to interact with the school? Tell me about this.
Yeah, in my case, for example, I also have a partner in America, and she's doing a program right now. She's doing a Master of Law at Georgetown. And for example, in your case, there are multiple universities in some cities, as for example, it can be New York or Boston. And also, it's not a bad idea to apply to have multiple options in the case one doesn't get in. And for example, a train via Amtrak from Boston to New York is 2 hours, and that can give you a lot of possibilities. Also.
Yeah, we did our exchange. I did it in New York and he did it in Boston, so we know we know.
We were
distance.
together in the university. We
Yeah.
studied
So
this summer.
you went at ICADE? You both ICADE
Yes.
students? Yeah. So with
Yeah.
ICADE, you have a 1 year. Okay.
Or in
we-
France,
Can you
if
leave
met
someone goes
your
to
phone number so that I can create a WhatsApp group? Can you leave the phone number, Patricia?
Yeah, I'll write it down in the.
Okay.
Perfect.
And did you like, so one was studied in New York, so at NYU, and the other one was studying where?
No, I was studying at Pace University, is the exchange program they have in
Okay,
Italy. And
I was in Bentley in Boston.
Bentley. So Bentley is also near Boston. But it's not exactly in Boston, but Bentley College.
Yeah.
And
Waltham.
Waltham, in the outskirts.
I was there several times, but I forgot where it is. It was a long time ago. Very nice place, by the way.
What's in your view the best school in Europe? Would you say it's in SEAT or not?
The best school in Europe? No,
Yes.
for me, it's not in Seattle. For me, it's not in Seattle. Definitely no.
Okay.
Definitely no.
Which one is it then?
For me, the
For an
best
MBA.
school in Europe, for me, it would be a LBS or AMD. LBS or AMD. Basically, the success of INSEAD is that they receive 250 consultants from the MBBs who get a top job after graduation. Okay, but if you're not one of those, it's going to be very difficult. You cannot make a career switch, which is very strange for an MBA. Okay, and I think like 2 years ago, 98% of the jobs were in consulting. It's crazy. You don't go if you don't want to do consulting. What do you do? 98% was 2 years ago. Okay? So basically, I would say that the school is well ranked. It's like imagine that Kevin, he says, "I'm the best GMAT." Kevin is probably the best GMAT teacher in Europe. Okay, but imagine that he publishes his ranking and he takes only 10 students, and they all get 745 GMATs. Okay, and we say I'm the best GMAT teachers in the world because my average. But so basically, instead, you just take a certain students that they know will be very successful. You don't take any risk, and they go with at INSEAD for a year. Okay, now of course, INSEAD has many advantages. You have two campuses. You can even have 3 campuses. It's a 1-year program. The school has a great network. I'm not saying, but if you tell me as a transforming experience to learn something, is it the right place? I would say no. Okay. Now, if you say my boss from McKinsey wants to send me 1 year somewhere, blah blah, don't want to bother, you say okay, go for INSEAD, of course. Okay, this is good value for money. But as a transforming experience to change yourself, to give you an impact, to change yourself, and to allow you to do something else in life, it's not the right place.
Okay.
It's not the right place at all. Okay. Did you leave your
Thank you.
contact, Patricia? And your husband? What's
I'm
the
writing it
name of
down.
your husband? Okay.
Okay.
Tell me, the girl with glasses next to Juan, the lawyer. What is your first name? Hello? Yes, Patricia. And
Christina.
if you can leave your Christina. Okay, so
Yeah.
Christina, tell me, Christina.
I don't have basically what I had the same question as with Theo, so more or less, it's pretty clear. And right now, I'm going to start working in a consultant firm, and I want to do like an MBA in 3-4 years time, but mainly in the US. But I don't have any preference. I haven't been like researching in depth because for me it's like 3 years ahead. So
Yeah, because currently you work for an MBB. They told you that you do an MBA in 2 years, so you're preparing the GMAT now with Kevin, so that you're ready to apply in 2 years. Yes, am I right? Something like that? Yeah.
sorry.
You work for an MBB. You work for what? Ben, BCG, McKinsey.
I'm going to start working for Oliver Wyman.
Oliver Wyman as well. And
Yeah.
you know that they will pay for an MBA in about 2 years'
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
and you're
so,
preparing
yes.
your GMAT now because you're fresh out of school. You're right. And you take the GMAT, and once you have the GMAT, you will see where you apply. I think for the experience that I have with Oliver Wyman, I don't know if they're ready to pay for a 2-year MBA. From what I've noticed, they are more for 1-year MBA. Huh? Is it true, Dennis? I don't think that they will pay you for Wharton. And they don't. Because I remember that last year, I had these 2 students from Oliver Wyman, and they even refused at the beginning to pay for the MBA. And then they negotiated. So Oliver Wyman decided to pay for the MBA, but it was INSEAD only. You have to see that an MBA costs $200,000. An MBA in America costs $200,000. I'm not sure that it makes a lot of sense for some companies to pay $300,000. It costs $200,000 because, and you see when you're sponsored by your company, you don't get any scholarship. Huh? Okay. So you
I
know
passed.
that That's why people go to INSEAD, because INSEAD is $110,000. I don't know if they pay for the. I don't know. I know that when you McKinsey, they pay for everything, but I'm not sure that they pay for.
For INSEAD, yes.
For INSEAD, yes, I've asked for the list.
Yeah, I wanted to say, do they give you a
full scholarship?
Yeah, they don't give you. Tell me, do you have what did I want to ask you? Did you give your contact information? Huh? Did you give your contact information?
Me, yeah.
Basically, Ignacio, if you could give a piece of advice now to the student, what piece of advice would you give them?
Absolutely, the biggest advice I can give, and the one I would have loved to receive, is move as much as you want. Apply the most you can while doing the program, attend to almost all of the networking events, and also be a normal human being. Have normal networking, enjoy the time with your mates, understand where they come from, get to know them, and good human contact is the best networking. And the other one is try to get very organized with the application process. If you're applying to a lot of schools, it can get on top of you, get an Excel tracker, put the deadlines, put all the requirements, if they need 1 or 2 cover letters, if they need contact references, and also put the prices to take into account the financials. In your case, everything is more or less solved. But if you want to pay for it or a scholarship from another company or getting a loan, it will be another way. But yeah, move as much as you can. And I think business school, at least for me, has been the ultimate trampoline to land a job that I would have loved. And it would be impossible for me to get it before.
Yes, exactly. So what I want to say, and the last piece of advice that we can give you, of course, be organized, prepare on time. Okay, but that's something we'll have a one-on-one meeting, so we'll explain to you all that. And also, don't imagine that sending the application is enough. Huh? You have to interact. So me, for instance, what I did for Stanford, there was a sort of pre-program. Okay, I'm going to give you. I got a full scholarship at Stanford. Okay, so what happened? There was a sort of pre-program where they select students. So they select 100, and there were 400 in the program. Okay. Anyway, it's a sort of executive MBA. So if you pay, you have a good job, they take you. Okay, let's be realistic. It's not like going to Harvard MBA, small executive MBA, so it's different. But I made sure that I was interacting with all the teachers. One day I even wrote a business case for them. They really liked the business case that I wrote for Stanford. And I was going to class, I was interacting. And at the end, they said, look, doctor, we want to give you full scholarship because we believe that you're not that stupid. And we believe that you'll be good at Stanford as you at Stanford. So they give me full scholarship, which is $60,000, good money. So what I want to say is that interact. So of course I was lucky that there was this pre-program at Stanford, so I could shine somehow. But try to do something like this. Okay, even I don't know. Try to do something. For instance, in India, Harvard has a program where they tour in colleges and they offer you that you attend business case, whatever. So be involved. Okay. Going to Kevin's class, working for the coaching part with me is not enough. You have to interact with the people. Okay. So now, of course, when you come from a top consulting company, I noticed, for instance, that last time there was Columbia or MIT that came to Spain. Well, for instance, they give us private presentation to the McKinsey students. Okay, well, it's a good thing as well. Of course, it's great exposure if you can have that. Also, be careful. Be careful. I think said they don't care if you're a consultant, they like this, but if you apply for a top MBA and you're a consultant, it's an issue because there are too many from Spain applying. Okay, so be careful. So differentiate yourself as well. If you're aiming a top MBA, and if you're aiming a top MBA, apply to round 1. Okay, because after that they are full of consultants. Okay, but for instance, that's why Ignacio, you want to apply for an MBA now. I'm sure that you get Columbia or MIT will get the top 1 because he's an engineer. He did finance. He went to AE. Okay, now he wants to go to America through a STEM program. So there's a logic in what he wants to do. Okay. So anyway, so what I'm building now, I'm building a community. That's why I asked you for your phone number. This community, there will be accepted students. from Spain who are Kevin students. Okay, you have to see that I send 20 to 25 every year to top MBA programs. Okay, or rarely MIMs, but MIF is very rare. At Kevin's place, it's mainly MBA applicants. Okay, then you'll be able to interact with current students and also with yourself, and you can ask questions. And I will put the school where the student is a graduate from. So, for instance, Ignacio will be there. By the way, Ignacio has prepared a mini guide. Huh? Ignacio, can you tell us about your mini guide that you have prepared, and you like maybe that I work on it with you? Maybe we could finish together the mini guide. Tell me, what is
Exactly.
this mini guide?
I'm preparing a guide that more or less establishes all the stepping stones and all the knowledge that I would have loved to receive before attending business school. Not only for the preparation wise, but some specific tips for applying that you only know if you have attended business school, with the coaching you have received, and also the psychology that a student should have. Also, apart from them, some top tips of networking that I have received, not only from business school, but also from JP Morgan workers and other stuff. And I think I will be giving to Doctor so he can hand it out to you in this afternoon.
I will put it on the LinkedIn profile because I have 25,000 followers on my LinkedIn, 1,000 on the Instagram, and I will also put it in the group. But it's so that in the group I will give you access to the newsletter and also to something like what Ignacio has done. But Ignacio is a bit outstanding. It's rare that people write something like that. Okay, so thank you very much, Kevin Rossio. So now you have changed your name. You're Kevin Rossio. No, there's Rossio that is written here. I hope to see you soon because you have to give a presentation at IE. See, Kevin, but it's taking time. The IE presentation. And,
all right, good to see you again, Ignacio.
Yeah. And thank you, Kevin, for welcoming us, and thank you, Denise, for welcoming us. Okay, have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.